Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 video. So today we're going to take a look at the Atomic Angler bundle. This is the premium bundle that you can pick up from storefronts like Steam or Xbox or PlayStation, not from within the game via the Atomic Shop. It's an external thing. Little order of business before we go any further, of course. The code was provided by Bethesda. They gave me that one for free, so I haven't spent any of my own money on this particular bundle. Obviously, they don't know that I am making this video. They have no input, etc., etc., and I think you will see that quite clearly coming up, because I think this bundle, as with all of the others, is probably quite hard for me to recommend. The reason I've never picked any of the other ones up, and the reason I probably wouldn't have picked this one up out of my own money, is that I don't think it's particularly great value for money. None of the others really struck me as particularly great value for money either. This one is not going to change that. It's around about the £25 mark, and presumably similar amount in other currencies as well. And some people that may be neither here nor there might not be worried about that. For a penniless creative, I look at this sort of thing and think, I can probably find something else I'd rather spend £25 on. Well, that's just my take. There are a couple of issues with this as well. There's some things that kind of overlap with stuff that's already there. There's some nice to haves, but there's a couple of things that need fixing here as well, which is not ideal in a premium bundle, unfortunately. So, on that note, let's actually dive in and have a look at the individual bits and pieces, and then you can make up your own mind as to how you feel about this bundle. Okay, so first up, let's have a look at the rod that's in this. The Charmcaster rod is just a skin. It doesn't change the way your fishing rod functions at all, just the appearance of it. I think it's the best looking one I've seen thus far. I've only seen these three so far, the janky one which it starts off with, the Ruby Reel from the season, and now the Charmcaster one. Given that it's in a premium bundle, I think I'd want it to be the best looking of the three rods so far. I've had a little rummage around in the season and on the challenges. I can't see any other rod skins out there. I haven't seen any others yet. I don't know if there are some that I have not come across, but anyway. This one is definitely the best looking one in my view. It looks like the one that's most pleasant to use. We have a little look at it in action here. I think it's... yeah, it looks new as opposed to some of the others that look way more battered, which they're probably a bit more post-apocalyptic, but yeah, it looks fine, it looks nice. I'm happy that it is the best looking one. I think I'll be sticking with it. Of all of the bits and pieces in this bundle, I think this is the one that's going to get the most use. The suffix might get some use as well, the boy suffix. There's a suffix and a prefix in here too, and those are what they are, of course. But yeah, I might use one of those, but I'm definitely going to stick with this rod skin because I think it looks quite good, actually. So, moving on from this one, though, next up we're going to take a look at the live bait barrel, which has kind of been a topic of conversation, people suggesting it's pay to win or something like that. It's really not that good. It's not good enough to be pay to win. It looks like quite a cool thing to put in your camp if you're into that sort of thing. You want a nautical vibe to your camp. Definitely works from that point of view. But it produces common and improved bait, but not at a particularly fast rate, and improved bait is still much less common to occur in the barrel than common bait is. Looking at it here, this is 4 common bait that's been produced over the hour or so it's been in my camp to about this point. So yeah, not exactly a game changer, that live bait barrel at all, but a nice to have, just top you up a little bit, but yeah, it's not going to change your life in any way, I don't think. So speaking of things that go in your camp, well, that's what most of the rest of this is, in fact. We're going to have a look at these floating buoy type deals. So we've got the life preserver there, we've got an ordinary buoy there, and then there's another little float as well. There's 3 of them. These basically drop into water, and they have to be placed in water, and they just act as little decoration items. They are annoyingly unreliable. This tiny one here, I have not been able to place at all anywhere, and I've tried in a couple of different camps. It just doesn't seem to work at all. It doesn't work on land, it's not meant to, so that's fine. It doesn't work in water, it just says it's floating at all times, so... yeah, I don't quite know what's going on with that, but it seems to be busted, as far as I can tell. I've tried in 2 or 3 different spots, so yeah, and I've had no joy. I've also found that the life preserver ring worked just fine here, but I tried it at another camp, and I couldn't get it to place either. I was having the same issue with that, so... these are nice sort of little decorative elements, but they are none too reliable in their functionality, which is disappointing in a premium bundle, I have to be honest. I would have liked to have seen a better job done there. Anyway, moving on to the next thing, the prefab. This is the Contessa boat prefab, and it's quite nice. I think it looks quite pretty. It's got some nice colour on the outside of it. The paint on the hull there. There's the little bits of fishing tackle on the side, which I don't think are on the similar prefab that's in the game already. There is the Bulwark prefab that you can buy from the Atomic Shop, and it basically is exactly the same as this with a few cosmetic differences. I don't think there's quite as much rigging on that one. I could be wrong, but I don't think there is either. But yeah, otherwise this is basically the same. It's a nice little prefab if you want to do a boat-themed camp. Bit hard to fish off because it's too far above the surface of the water. And it's a bit awkward to place on water. It needs to be in contact with the ground. So if the water's too deep, ironically, the boat won't place. At least the bulwark won't, and I don't imagine this is any different. I managed to get it in this tiny little gap on the edge of my camp, sticking way outside the build area somehow. I don't know why it was so cooperative there, but hey, I'm glad it did. It simplified my life a little bit. Yeah, I think it's pretty, but if you're holding out for just this, or if that's the only thing you want from the bundle, I'd grab the bulwark from the Atomic Shop next time that's around. But on the other hand, it is a nice prefab, so there is that. So we're going to grab the power armor stand out now. I was going to do this inside, but you can't really see clearly enough, so we'll go outside where there's a bit more sunlight, and we'll drop the power armor in and have a look at the Hydrotech Exo power armor skin. So this is just a paint, and it's all right. I don't think I'm completely sold on the aesthetic. That's an entirely personal taste thing, though, so to each their own. With a bit of a scroll down, it's in here somewhere. It's kind of dark metal, almost black metal, with a verdigris vibe on it, which is an interesting look. I find those shoulder pads very weird, for want of a better word. Shoulder pauldrons, I suppose, are supposed to be, given that it's armour. But I do find them a bit weird. It's definitely got an aquatic feel to it. Doesn't do anything special other than just look interesting, so there is that. If you like the power armor, I have seen some people online and in reviews and the like saying they really, really like the look of the power armor, and that's great. It doesn't do it for me, but nonetheless, we'll have a hop over in just a minute to somewhere a little better illuminated and get a better look at it. So while I'm equipping this, if you happen to have seen any of the reviews on Steam, you might have seen some rather overly dramatic commentary on there about predatory practices and nonsense like that. I've got to say, I'd hold off on putting too much faith in those reviews if I were you. I don't think for myself it's all that great value, but on the other hand, I don't think the nonsense some people are talking out there is really anything to go by. It's just people looking for something to be upset about. It is very, very easy to not realise this bundle even exists. If you're not actually looking for it in your various storefronts, like Steam or Xbox or what have you, you might not even notice it's there. So how that's a predatory business practice is beyond me, and it's definitely not pay to win, contrary to what some people might want to suggest as well. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about any of that nonsense. It's entirely optional, and value proposition isn't spectacular, but nonetheless, it's definitely not an unreasonable thing to give you the opportunity to buy if you want to. But yeah, the verdigris look on this is quite nice. We'll have a look at the back of it now as well. We've had a look at the front. There is no jetpack skin, I should note here. That is the Union Power Armor jetpack, and like a lot of Power Armor skins, there's no matching jetpack, and it's very, very annoying. And yeah, with most of them, it just doesn't look great when you have a non-matching jetpack on there, but what can you do? So, there we go. Apart from the prefix and the suffix, which I haven't actually got footage of, but I'm sure you know how those work. You head into your Pip-Boy on the character tab and then scroll over to the right and you can change your prefix and suffix. We've got Contessa for a prefix and we've got Boy for a suffix, or buoy if you have to pronounce it that way. But yeah, they do what they do. They pop up next to your name on the map and elsewhere, and when other players are looking at your character. They're fine. The suffix, it might get some use for me, maybe, possibly, but there are other more interesting fishing-related ones I think that I'd probably pick. Not a particularly exciting thing, but it is what it is. As for the rest of the bundle, well, I've pretty much covered my position on it now. I think the rod is my favourite bit. The live bait thing I will use just because it's extra bait and it's convenient and it's a nice kind of decorative element. The floating buoys, the little decorative items, the life preserver and the other bits and pieces, really unreliable and really need some work desperately soon. Ideally yesterday. Bethesda have not done very well on that. I'm disappointed to see that. The Contessa prefab, nice. That looks alright. Probably not really worth it given that the bulwark's in there in the Atomic Shop, so keep an eye out for that one as well if that's the only thing that appeals to you. And then there's the power armor, of course, and you can feel about that any which way you like, of course. So yeah, that's my oh-so-hot take on this. Probably not the review Bethesda were looking for, if I'm honest. On the other hand, the feedback should hopefully be useful for them, so there is that. But yeah, if 25 quid is neither here nor there to you, you might want to pick it up. Otherwise, do as you will. I hope you found this useful, interesting, and informative. If you did like the video, please do consider dropping subs and likes. I very much appreciate. Social media links in the description if you want to catch up with everything going on over there. It's a good way to get notifications. Obviously, YouTube is none too reliable, even if you have got that notification bell rung. And there's channel memberships down below if you're interested in supporting the channel that way as well. I do appreciate. If you're looking for something else to watch, we also have live streams on the channel as well. Of course, playing Fallout 76. We've got Atomfall on the go at the minute. That's been pretty interesting. Very, very cool game. Got Oblivion Remastered, which I've run into a slight snag with, so hopefully we'll pick that up again soon. We've been playing Tainted Grail, which was a fun, darker style Elder Scrolls type game, so that's really cool. Bit of an indie one. And we're about to check out The Altars as well tonight, so that should be interesting to check out as well. Survival with sci-fi and some really interesting mechanics, and the reviews seem positive too, so looking forward to checking that out. If you're interested, usually Monday to Friday in the evening, UK time, so I'd love to see you there. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.